Yes, sir. So we have amidst us the August speaker, GT Venkateshwar Rao, sir. Sir belongs to 1990 batch of Indian Revenue Service, and sir holds a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering and 2 postgraduate degrees in industrial management and computer science. Sir has held various positions in income tax department, in assessment, investigation, intelligence, systems, appeals at various places in India, Mysore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Madurai, etc. Sir was one of the first IRS officer to be posted as first Secretary Economic in the High Commission of India at Singapore during 2010 to 13. Sir is currently on deputation with Government of Telangana as Commissioner Electronic Service Delivery Department, MISEVA, Special Commissioner E-Governance and Managing Director of Telangana State Technology Services. Sir has worked extensively on data mining and data analytics on very large databases and pioneered the use of data mining in both Income Tax Department and also as Commissioner Electronic Service Delivery Department. For his work, Sir has received Excellence Award of Finance Minister in 2009, and Sir is the first officer from Income Tax Department to receive the highest award in civil services in India, the coveted Prime Minister Award for Excellence in Public Administration in April 2010, for his innovative work in Income Tax Department called 360-degree profiling for detecting tax evasion. Sir, as Commissioner Electronic Service Delivery, is implementing various e-governance and m-governance initiatives across many departments like MiSeva 2.0, T-Folio, Samagra Vedika, T-Wallet, real-time digital authentication, etc. And Sir is focused mainly on using latest technologies like big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to find solutions which will lead to better governance and bringing in transparency and accountability in administration and citizen services. During his tenure as Commissioner Electronic Service Delivery Department, Sir has been awarded various national and international awards such as National Award on E-Governance 2017-18 in the category Innovations in Existing Project of Government Departments other than PSU category, Global ICT Excellence Award at World Congress of IT, Digital India Award, Vitsa Chairman's Award at World IT Congress 2018, CSI Nihilent Award, are just to name a few. Sir is a guest speaker at various other institutions like IIT Madras, ASCI, NADT Nagpur, NPA Hyderabad, Forest Academy Mussoorie, Gartner Summit in Mumbai, etc. Sir, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to the Academy and invite you to address the Officer Trainees of 2019 batch. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Varun Reddy, for a very generous introduction. Please discount what he has said because that's what his duty is to say more. Now, of course, we will try to. Actually, there are a lot of initiatives, but because of the time constraint, I wanted to show one particularly which I thought will interest many of you. How do we use this latest emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, deep learning, etc. Now, if you see globally, there are a lot of examples of using this in law enforcement, agriculture, and health. But there are very few examples of using these technologies for citizen service delivery. So I think that's where perhaps the work what we are doing in Telangana state is a bit different and unique. That how are we using these emerging technologies for a better citizen service delivery? I'll have one presentation, and in between I'll have one 6 minutes video which also explains what I am speaking. Varun, how to project my PPT?
Sir, you can share the screen, sir. You've been made the host of the meeting.
Okay, options.
In the bottom, sir, bottom center. And the video is shared with the IT department, sir. So
yeah, I'll let you know when the video is to be played.
Yes, we can see the screen now, sir.
Yeah, so today's discussion would be on using AI, big data, machine learning, and deep learning in citizen service delivery. That's very important because there are a lot of examples in law enforcement and other areas, but there are very, very few even globally and very less in India on this. So, I think your course director was also mentioning in the introduction that the whole thing is how physical presence of citizen can be dispensed at a government office for delivering the any citizen service. So that's what the whole thing. I'm sure the entire message by now what we would have got is that if you can disconnect the bureaucracy and the citizen, that brings the tremendous amount of transparency into the service delivery. And the convenience part is that you disconnect it. So the whole I think if you see the entire the way Indian government has bureaucracy has evolved over last 70 years is that increasingly the disconnect or the interface between the citizen and the officials or officers or the department has to be minimum. You see exceptional work which has done, like say, for example, income tax. If you see the way the returns of income tax returns were handled, let's say 10 years ago and now, you see it's a complete change the way they are handled, and the essence of that is the disconnect. Now, which means that how do you authenticate a person's identity when he is asking for a service in a remote manner? Now, the only method currently available in the country that offers the real-time digital authentication is Aadhaar based, where we are able to deliver, very, very significant in terms of ration delivery systems, etc., and many other departments. So it's a great step forward for ushering in this service delivery, presence-less and contactless service delivery. However, it has some limitations. The first limitation is that because of various restrictions, the service is available only limited number. For example, in Telangana, if you take maybe about, there are 10,000 places maximum where you can avail this service because of this thing. Then it requires some amount of special hardware, etc. It's a two-factor authentication system. And then there are issues in case of elders on fingerprint mismatch, etc. And now a lot of restrictions on using this as per the current judicial position. So it can be used in many situations, but it cannot be used in equally many situations. So that's where from Telangana we were looking for alternatives. Can we have some alternative to this, but at the same efficacy? Now I'll give you 3-4 examples. I'm sure all of you are aware that any government official after retirement gets a pension. But for that purpose, they are. Is it only one way, or can I stop? How is it structured?
Sir, you can ask officer trainees if they have any doubts. Sir, they'll raise a hand.
Okay, once in a while, let me stop. So that's slightly interactive. I mean, it cannot be the way in a classroom, but we can make little myth.
Or you can ask questions, sir. People will reply to the answer.
Right. So, okay. So now, therefore, however, I think as some of you at least must be aware that they have to file what is called annual life certificate every year. So there are 3 methods. They can go to sub-treasury office where they have retired, or they can go to the bank where their pension account is held. Third, of course, is the biometric based, where they can go to any Mi-Seva center and do it. So these are the 3 methods. Then, how many of you have really felt that the driving license renewal is, can be improved? Because I think all of you are aware, I'm sure many of you must have driving license. First time when you take a driving license, definitely this person has to visit, because you are passing, you'll be put to a driving test. But in case of renewal, again, in the present position across the country, citizens are asked to come, fill an application, pay a fee, and take a photograph. There is no test. So the question comes, I mean, is for this kind of service, is there need to visit the office? Please think. Third, how do currently, I'm sure some of you might have voted in any of the elections, state or central. So you carry one of the IDs, 10, 12 IDs, and then the person physically checks it and then approves. But there is absolutely no trail later for some reason if you want to see who has come or what is the ID shown, etc. So these are the three scenarios I wanted to pose for you, for just thinking. We were also looking for these three issues and a little, many more others. And we were looking, can we simplify the process and can we make it more convenient, more accountable and more efficient? On the objective always.
वो ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या, जैसे मैं गाड़ी में चल रहा हूँ या मैं कुछ भी कर रहा हूँ लेकिन मेरा एक बैकग्राउंड स्टेबल रहे।
नवजीवन यार अपना वीडियो ऑडियो स्विच ऑफ करो। नवजीवन, where are you? This is the problem of online training.
Yeah. Okay, so these were the three questions I also want you to think. Now I think that's what we were trying to, Telangana was trying to answer. Can we do this in a better way? Two things, as far as the efficiency and accuracy, everything remains same, but can it be more convenient? Can it be presence-less? Can it be contactless? Can somebody do it? Can the citizens do it from their house? Varun, please ask them to play the video.
Yes, sir. IT team, can you please play the video?
Year after year, Telangana has been adjudged as the leading e-governed state in India. As per e-TAL, Government of India, Telangana ranks #1 in per capita e-transactions. What has been setting Telangana apart from its peers is the vision of a truly digital Telangana and its execution under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao and Honorable IT Minister Shri K.T. Rama Rao. The Transport Department is implementing various innovative IT initiatives under the leadership of Honorable Transport Minister Shri Puvada Ajay Kumar. Striving towards this vision, Telangana has started exploring the use of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, big data, blockchain, drones, etc. in the government. Authentication of citizens' identity is a key prerequisite of service delivery by government departments. For example, at airports, security verify the identity of a citizen before allowing them to enter the airport. At examinations, the identity of students is verified before they are allowed for the exam. These examples of identity authentication essentially include 3 checks which are performed manually. First, name on the flight ticket or hall ticket with the name on the ID card. Second, photograph on the ID card with the face of the citizen. Third, which is an indirect check of physically verifying the live person. Let's take the case of services provided by the Transport Department. Say to renew driving license or change address in driving license, citizens are required to visit the Transport Department office, stand in a queue and submit the application form. The official takes a photo of the citizen and issues certificate after successful verification and fee payment. Even for services which do not require driving test or inspection of vehicle by the department, citizens are made to visit the RTO office only for the purpose of identification and submission of documents. This could be avoided if there is a reliable way to check the citizen's identity and accept the required documents. ITE&C Department of Government of Telangana, after intense analysis, has come up with an innovative solution called Real-Time Digital Authentication of Identity (RTDAI) for an easy, convenient and correct authentication of citizens' identity through a smartphone without personal presence at the office. Built on RTDAI platform in association with the Transport Department, Government of Telangana, Friendly Electronic Service of Transport, FEST, allows the citizens of Telangana to avail numerous services of Transport Department through a smartphone from their home anytime, anywhere without visiting the Transport Department. FEST service is provided through T-App Folio, the M-Governance initiative of Government of Telangana. The citizen needs to submit details such as name, father name, address, DL or LL number, click a selfie and upload the required documents. FEST processes the provided information using a three-factor authentication by leveraging state-of-the-art technologies. Artificial intelligence-based liveness check to ensure that selfie uploaded is from a live person at that instant and not of a photograph or a selfie taken earlier. This is the most important test since the identification is done remotely. Big data-based demographic check to match names with multiple name variations. Deep learning-based image comparison to match photographs. The technology can handle many variations in the photos. Post successful three-factor authentication, the citizen can pay the service fee through a smartphone and avail the service. 5 driving license and learning license services are being made available through FEST immediately. Another 6 DL and LL services will be offered in 15 days. More services are scheduled for release in due course. Except for services where a driving test or physical inspection of the vehicle is to be performed, the Transport Department aims to offer all services in a contactless and presenceless manner through FEST. Telangana Transport Department is the first in the country to build this kind of platform, leveraging emerging technologies to provide contactless and presenceless citizen services, making government service delivery efficient, convenient and transparent. Marching ahead towards its vision of a digital Telangana, the Transport Department and IT/EC Department dedicates the friendly electronic service of transport, FEST, to the citizens of Telangana.
Sir, you can share the screen again, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, so you're able to hear?
Yes, sir, we can hear, sir.
So I think anyway, we'll continue and perhaps have some few questions in the end. Now, this is where I told you that we were trying to look for some alternatives. So therefore, we have come out with an alternative system based on a 3-factor authentication. One more, unlike many others, which are typically 2-factor, where demographic plus liveness plus photo comparison check. So it uses, it's 3 different steps. First is the artificial intelligence based liveness detection. This is most important because you should, the photo that is coming from a mobile app must have been taken from a real person. That's the first test it does. It uses, the artificial intelligence based is built into that. Based on the amount of light reflected, the algorithm concludes that whether it is from a photo or it is from a real person. Second is the deep learning based image comparison. The photo that is captured, selfie, is matched against the base photograph in the Transport Department or other department. And I will show you the kind of intelligence now the deep learning based algorithms have is phenomenal. They can handle, the most even we cannot believe that algorithms can have such a high accuracy of detecting. Third is a big data based name variations, because the name that is entered may be slightly different. So only if all these 3 tests are passed in and condition, that is actually you get green ticks, you are saying 1, 2 and 3. Only if it is and, then it goes to the next step. That means authentication is complete. Even if one of them is not correct process, then it rejects, saying that either it's not a live photograph, or the photo is incorrect, or the name is incorrect. So the whole idea of the pillars of the key principles of the real-time digital authentication is anytime, anywhere from home. It's high accuracy, exactly same as any other system. It's independent of biometrics, because unlike iris or photo, now it's a face, which is not treated as that, private, unlike fingerprint or this thing. It's a real time. And because the biggest change is that it does not require any additional hardware. It uses a smartphone, and in the country there are about 40 crore smartphones today. And continuous learning. See, unlike in the traditional systems where if you give some biometric, it is frozen. The deep learning based algorithms are learning continuously. So even if, let us say, one photograph has not passed the test, perhaps the same photograph will pass tomorrow because the algorithm has improved, or you give a new photograph, then it matches like that. So the real time, these are the key principles on which we have built the platform. And this is the first time it has been built in the government, though even in the private, when we built, it was the first of its kind, though now in private sector, the similar solutions have come. So we have three solutions, as I said. The big data and machine learning based demographic comparison we have taken from a company which serves a lot of banks, etc. Then AI based liveness detection we have taken from another company which works with a bank in Vietnam, which does the same process for account opening, remote account opening. And deep learning based photo comparison we have taken from a global MNC. And these are all APIs, like you have taken 3 different APIs. Then we have integrated with the mobile app. So it's a very, very flexible system. So now let me come to the 3 challenges what we have seen. The first is that what kind of challenges you see in the names when you want to compare. You can just look at two names. They can vary because of all those reasons: spelling, abbreviation, sequence, addition and deletion, or splitting. So these are the same names, but it is written in a very different way. So the solution must handle and conclude that these 2 names are same. So this is the first factor of authentication. The second factor is the facial recognition. If you see, please see the left side, the top and the bottom are the photos of the same person, but taken at very different points of time. And the photos may vary because of the reasons what you can see: the age when the photo was taken, the image quality, angle of image, black and white versus color and lighting. Similarly, right side you can see the person is same, but the photos are taken at 2 different points of time. So if you give these 2 photos, the system must say yes, he's the same person. So and you can see it's a very challenging aspect. It's not that simple. Even among the participant, I think half of them will agree that they are same person, other half will disagree. So that's the kind of intelligence the system must have. And the third test, as I said, which we cannot, it is inbuilt, is that liveness detection. So now we have used in 3, 4, or 5 different applications for different departments. The first one I will see is the pensioners life certificate through selfie. So we have rolled in 2019 this system in Telangana, where the government pensioners need not visit anywhere. All they are expected to do is enter their pension ID and upload a selfie. And the system processes exactly, and if it is satisfied, the 3-factor authentication test is passed, you get a digital life certificate. That means all you need to do is upload a selfie once in a year from your home. Now I will show you, now because we have run it, it's almost about 70,000-80,000 people have used so far. I will show you the challenges what we have faced and where we have done it and we could not do also. So if you see demographic variation, the first part, the input name, that is what the pensioner has entered. The base name means that is the system pensioner's name in the system. So the first part, you can see the system has agreed and identified that this is the correct name. But you can see it's very different, sequence or extension or name variations. Some parts are closed. You can see the last but one name. It's so it has all the variations. There is expansion, sequence variation, abbreviations, perhaps spelling mistake in one of the string. So system has handled and said, yes, these are the two names which are correct. But you can also see in the bottom, a small percentage the system could not detect also. The reason you can see is that extreme variation. I mean, the whole challenge will be if there is extreme variation, it could be a different person also. So it has to, apply that test. So this is the where the system could not do. Now I will show you this is the photo recognition part. You can see there are 4 pensioners here. The left side is the input image, that is the selfie, and the right side, the 4 blocks. In each block, you have 2 photographs. The left is the the person who has given now, and the right is the base photograph in the system. So you can see what is the algorithm returns what is called similarity score. These are very, very high score, like we say high confidence where it is more than 90%. So you can see yourself, you can understand. Now I'll show you some more where people have, Indians are quite intelligent. So they have also tried to test the system, trying to give some different photographs and whether the system is accepting. These are the photographs which system has rejected, saying that you are not the person. Typically, what we say is anywhere the score is less than 50%, we reject it. So you can see actually there are actually different persons, gender variation, etc., etc. So it has rightly rejected. So that means the test is it should accept the correct person, but also reject the incorrect person. So both tests it has done fairly well, but I'll also show you some examples where it's not able to do, though is a correct person. So this is the second test where it has rightly rejected. Now the third test is, this is where the error percentage, that the person is same, but system has not detected. Perhaps you can see, extreme variation, perhaps, or the selfie is too close to this thing, or the base image is very blurred, etc. Now, if you can see the analysis so far, around 92% of the people who have tried the system has accepted, and overall there is a 8% which system has not accepted. That does not mean that these 8% they have to use the traditional channels. At least 92% they can use this channel. Now, I think many of you would immediately have a doubt, even among what is accepted, what is error, like this thing. So we have also done 2 types of error, type 1 analysis and type 2. That is, correct person could not be identified. That is what you have seen. 8% is the type 1 error. That is, right person but could not be identified. That's not a type 1 error, is not a big issue because you already have 3-4 other systems in place. So the reasons, of course, is that extreme name variations or extreme photo variations, etc. But as we change, for example, if somebody is not identified, he comes to the office and he gives his little bit later photograph, next time he will pass through the test. So likewise, as we believe that as we use the system, we can improve this accuracy, and perhaps we believe that it's possible to reach anywhere between 96 to 98%. But what will be of more interest is the type 2, whether any incorrect persons have been allowed by the system. So because this is the first time the system has, is used, government also felt, the pension department, they said every case which is approved by the system will also be approved by manually, at least in the 1-2 years, till we get complete confidence. So when they have approved, out of the total approvals of 48,265 by the system, 99.4% manually also they have approved. That means the process is validated manually. In 0.6% of the cases, they have disagreed, saying that this is not correct. Now I will show you those 0.6% where we believe that it is correct, but because there is a manual intervention. Now, these are the cases, that 0.6% cases, where system is saying it is the right person, but the officer is saying it is the wrong person. But if you strictly see, I mean, I think all the 4 are actually correct. But that's what, they think. So therefore, I believe that the type 2 error will be extremely low. And in any system, you always have the type 2 error. The only objective is it should be least amount, which is acceptable, versus the convenience and other things it offers. So we believe that at best it will be some, 0.1 or 0.05%, which is sort of allowable, much, and far more, the convenience it offers is far higher than this thing. Even I'm sure you're aware in Aadhaar also similar issues, people, use some fingerprints and things like that. So any system you always have that, but the type 2 error, as we have demonstrated, is extremely small. Now these are the, this thing. And this project was covered by BBC also, that just through a selfie, how it is helping the elder citizens. Now I will take up the second project, of which the video you have seen. How do the new system of renewal of driving license in the state of Telangana. So what we said is, I think the video at that time, it was at the time of launch. Right now we have 17 services which are available in the smartphone, TF Folio, where you can 7 driving license services, 2 registration services, 4 learning, and 4 permit services. It's about, we have launched in July 2020. So it's about 11 months. The project, it's a system which is in production for the last 11 months. And on 5th June, 263 citizens have used, and 4th June, 279 citizens have used. That means to this extent, they have used this 17 services right from their home without revisiting the office. Now, because it's a new system, slowly the acceptance, etc., is and the department is also, it's a takes little time for anything to sort of take up. So we believe as more and more people use, the numbers will go up significantly. This thing. So these numbers are shown to show that people are using it, and this is how you get your DL renewed. This is actual case. Somebody has renewed the learning license over the smartphone, and you get within 2 minutes your digital receipt learning license renewed with something what you see in the screen. And it's a complete digital transformation. It's a paperless green governance. Anytime, anywhere, including outside India, you can renew even from abroad. It's a linguistic demographic, because now smartphone anybody can use. It's a huge empowerment to the citizens, because we are saying presence-less, contactless, anytime, anywhere, 24/7. And even on Sunday, for example, we see about 100 people are using the service, whereas in a traditional office, Sunday you can't use. And it's a complete process re-engineering of a service delivery from the existing system to the new system. This is the some media coverage. It has won many awards. The recent award is from the 2-3 awards have come in the last year from Technology Sabha, Computer Society of India, etc. And then third, I will show this also will be of a lot of interest to you, because I think subsequently many of you will be conducting elections. So how we have used the same technology during voter verification. It was used for the first time in the entire country of using a smartphone, using facial recognition. Of course, because election is a process which is very system and very, bound by lots of procedures. So they have used in one of the urban local body elections in Hyderabad in January 20, 1:n. So they have used in 10 wards where each ward has 1,400 voters. So the moment a voter walks in, his photo will be taken and system will immediately identify whether it is not. This is the process, and this is actual screenshots of that where we have used. Very interesting. You can see left side screen. The person in that booth has actually two voter cards. So the top one, what you see is the photo taken by the election official, and green tick means you are a valid voter. If that person is not voter in that booth, you get a red tick and says you are not valid voter. And the bottom portion is the data fetched from the voter database. So you see right side, you can see how efficient is the process of identification. The top photo is the person when he has come for the voting, and the bottom photo you can see his voter ID. You can see it's a huge difference between the two photos, but system has recognized. And please understand, out of the 1,000 voter IDs, in that, it has picked up only one particular record. That is, the efficiency is also very high. You can see two more examples. Again, the left side, you can see the voter has two voter IDs in the same booth, which is again a very peculiar thing. And you can see the photos of, she has taken two voter IDs at two different points of time, and the photos vary very significantly. The system has rightly captured, identified that these two voter IDs belongs to her and she is the person. And you can see the last one. I think the it's very difficult to even assume that whether they are the same, but system is right, accepted it. And if you look very carefully, you also feel that he is the same person. So this is the third. And the fourth where we have used is, we have a system of admission process for the degree colleges, which is centralized admission process. So till last year, they were using Aadhaar was the only method of identification. So last year, they have used the same, where through a mobile app, the same process, where he enters his +12 ID, and his selfie is compared with the +12 photograph. And if all the three tests are passed, AI-based liveness detection, deep learning-based image comparison, and the name, his name versus the name recorded in the intermediate, is allowed to register. So in that, last year, about 40,000 students have registered through this process, and all of them have ultimately gone through the process. So I think this sort of brings us to the this thing. So I have showed you multiple situations, at least in 4 or 5 different scenarios, where the platform is used. That is how to use this 3-factor authentication system using liveness detection plus facial recognition plus demographic based name matching to get an accurate and remote identification of a citizen over a smartphone, so that services can be delivered in a presence-less, contactless manner, and there is a complete disconnect between the citizen and the government department. Thank you everybody for your patient hearing, and we can have some questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, Mainek has a question.
Yes, please.
Mainek, you're muted.
Sir, good morning, sir. This is Mainek, Maharashtra Kata, sir.
Good morning,
Sir, I have a question. Sir, in Maharashtra, sir, there is a scheme known as Shiv Bhojan, sir, Shiv Bhojan scheme. What it does is it provides extremely cheap meals, sir. It's 5 rupees or 6 rupees per meal, this food. And the Shiv Bhojan Kendras are there. So local people actually take the contract and operate that. So their revenue depends upon as many as thalis they actually sold. So what they have to do, sir, when they sell a thali, they have to take the picture of the person who is actually purchasing it and upload that picture into the web portal. So the discrepancy is, sir, that every day they were like uploading 150, 200 pictures, but actually in reality, they are actually giving this thali to 90 to 100 people. So what they do, sir, in many times in inspection, when the local DSO, when he cancels the license, so it has been seen that what they do, they take pictures from anywhere, like from postcards or banners. Anywhere they see some person's picture, they just capture the photo and upload it. And once it's so happens, sir, they also uploaded the picture of dogs, cats, and like this. So they just fill up the web portal where like 100, 200, but actually the number of actual persons taken the photo was like 100, 110. But the website could not actually detect that. So my question is, sir, is there any system that when here is a normal person actually uploading the picture, so there is no question about whether or not he's a robot or not, something like that. But if there is a system that can be made where from this can be checked, that whether the photos that are uploaded is actually taken from an original person or from any banner or any random person.
Yeah, Manek, is a very important question, and it is the most important, as I said in the beginning, perhaps, the entire technology is built on what is called 3-factor authentication. The very first factor is the artificial intelligence based liveness detection. So if in your case, if you take a photograph from a banner, it does not go to the next step. It says that this is from a, it's not from a person. So the technology, what it uses is that actually, anyway, Karnat, I think you can download our app and try for yourself, where you can see, you put a photograph and system says that this is not from a person. So that test is the most important test, because we are giving the service remotely, we are accepting the person this thing. So now that artificial intelligence based liveness detection ensures that other than a person, no other like as you said, no image can never be captured. It will not go to the next system, stops there saying that it's not from a person. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Dalip has a question, sir. His connection is not stable, so I'm asking the question on his behalf.
Yeah, please.
Sir, his question is, there is a shortage of staff at lower level administration. Can AI or ML compensate for this? How can we go about it?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect and it's a very important question. And I think as all of you go down and join your respective places, you will see there are huge, opportunities to use AI in ML. I have shown some examples, but there are many more examples, because ultimately, if you have seen the presentation, what it has done currently, the transport department person, whatever he is doing, he is looking at a person, he's taking his form, he's taking his photo, all that the system is doing. So many situations are there where you can, you have the scope to implement, where the entire decision making, the way it is currently done by a person, can be done through a system using AI and machine learning. I think, document recognition systems are there. So suppose if some forms have to be filled, the forms can be automatically checked by the system, approved or rejected based on certain tests and rules. So there is a huge opportunity for using this AI, ML, deep learning, big data in multiple areas of administration. And I think some of you will definitely try and succeed also.
Sir, Varnit has a question, sir.
Good morning, sir. Sir, my question to you is, sir, what is the possibility of development of district level competence to innovate using these AI, deep learning and machine learning toolkits, sir? Because right now only the state government innovates and give apps and different kind of services which are implemented at district level or taluka level. Can we have a toolkit to innovate at district level, sir?
Yeah, Varnit, because this IT is, I'm sure all of you must have understood by this time, this is one of the department which has come into the government very recently. So it doesn't have a lot of strength in terms of numbers, unlike the traditional departments. But you also should remember, you can't really have people, because the technology is changing so fast that even if you take some employees, by the time next 5-6 years, that technology would have changed, and people, very difficult for people in the government to continuously keep themselves updated unless they have a passion. So the model is, but of course, I think you have seen that lots of places, the efforts are made at the district level through a pilot. Of course, that depends a lot of your enthusiasm, your involvement, somehow get local resources, get it done on a small scale. So quite a few projects across the country, if you see last over this thing, many initiatives have been taken by the collectors at the district level, but of course, it may not have the scale, etc. But if the idea is fantastic, I'm sure the top level immediately picks it up. So in fact, my suggestion is all of you should keep trying to do something at the district level. Of course, that is what is all about your, how you mobilize your resources, how you try to get some people and organize it, etc. But yes, it's what I think this ideal system is. The innovations and the pilots happen at district level by individual officers, of course, at the state level also. But if something is very nice, I think there are many places where it has quickly gone from it's to the system. So I think all of you should attempt that you please try to do something what it is at your level in a scale, a small scale, and then try to show that this is the difference it is making to the citizen. immediately it goes up. And in many cases, at least in many states, wherever the progressive leadership at the top, it can kind of become a state or even national project.
Sir, Shahzad Alam has a question, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. My question is, what are the system in place to protect of facial data of citizen? Like we are capturing so much of facial data. So what are the encryption, like kind of Aadhaar and all we have put in place to protect those data of the citizen?
Yeah, I think very nice question. Of course, sensitive question also. So see, these all, I think many of you, at least some of you must be aware that now all states have state data center. So most of the important applications are hosted at the state data center, and the state data center has, fairly, I would say, reasonable amount of securities in place. But I think, this IT is something, cyber security is something where no one can ever say, that it is this thing. Of course, our effort is always that all applications are hosted in state data center, and try to keep the state data center as, sort of as far as possible. So, but of course, that's there is always a risk that the data losing. But ultimately, it's the convenience, etc. And you can see now all states are going for it. But yes, is a point, and we need to continuously work on the security side.
So, sir, is there any audit for the security of data?
Yeah. So all applications which are hosted in the security, SDC, all government applications, once in a year or once in 2 years have to go through what is called security audit certificate process, which is done by independent auditors. And then SDCs, for example, in Telangana, we have Security Operations Center, SOC it's called, SIEM, there's another tools which tries to, make the data secure. So two things, one is the individual application security audit is also being insisted upon, and this data center as a whole security is being looked after. So all efforts are made, but as I said, that's always an issue.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Saurabh Bhuvani has a question, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, I am Saurabh from Jharkhand Cadre. Sir, I have observed that there has been many technological interventions in areas related to service delivery. But sir, I feel that one of the major hurdles has been the behavioral aspect, be it of the staff at the block level, or be it the ignorance of the potential service recipients. Sir, how can we overcome that, sir?
Yeah, that's a very perfect question. See, it ultimately depends on the message that the government passes of the convenience that the citizens are going to get out of our initiatives, M-governance or e-governance. So therefore, a lot of it depends, I think, on the political leadership as well. Some states have done exceptionally well. For example, in Telangana, we have what is called Me Seva. I think now almost all the states have it, but it started in Telangana way back 20 years ago. That is where the political leadership at the highest level has sent a message that for your service, don't come to the office. So today the system is so accepted by the people that, let's say, for example, there are today many departments in government of Telangana where the service is not available in a government office. You cannot come to a government office and ask for a certificate. If you want a particular, let's say, income certificate, the only way is either you have to apply through online yourself, or through a mobile, or through go to a Me Seva center and apply, and then either certificate will come through your post, or go to Me Seva and collect it. But if the system is able to show this and convey this to the citizens, automatically they will accept it. There is going to be a bureaucratic resistance, no doubt about that, because the whole any of these efforts what you are making is going to get a resistance, because you are removing the disconnect, and they don't want that. They want the connect. That's the whole issue. There are people in the system who want the connect. Our effort is not to have the connect. So there is always going to be a challenge, but therefore it of course requires a political leadership apart from bureaucracy. So therefore only officers trying to do it will not work. It has to be accepted and it has to be driven. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Neeraj has a question, sir.
Good morning, sir. Sir, my question is how you generated the original database against which you are verifying the photographs, and can we use the photographs that are captured by the Aadhaar system?
I think a very interesting question. The entire process we have built is independent of the Aadhaar. Actually, it's a alternative to Aadhaar, because Aadhaar has lots of challenges based on the judicial order. So in the case of transport department, where you have seen the example, driving license, the photograph is already available with the department. So the selfie that is being given now is being compared with the photo that is available with the department already. So we have taken, the departments wherever we have implemented the base data, that is the name and photograph, the department should have. Therefore, at least first step we are doing where the photos or the data is available with the department.
So, sir, the system was not working for the new driving license.
A new driving license, yes, because new driving license, what happens is there is a test, no? So test means that is what please understand that in case of a new driving license, apart from the photograph, somebody is going to test it. So if you see in the video, the transport department's objective is that except those services which require a physical inspection of a vehicle or a driving test, every other service will be through this service. So wherever, of course, you still have a manual decision, we have to follow the existing process. But as you have rightly said, first time, yes.
Sir, Kanishak has asked in the chat box related to the same question, that do we update the base image every year after a successful verification is done, and how do we verify the true positives?
No, base image is not uploaded every time. It's only once. The advantage is, for example, in the pensioner's life certificate case, you have the base image with the department. First year, suppose if a pensioner has used, you have got one image. So you can, this image is compared with the base image. Next year, when the pensioner does, you have two images. So, you can compare with the previous image or the base image. So that kind of, addition happens where in pension case you have every year, but in transport department, renewal happens once in 5 or once in 10 years. But any incremental photograph is always available, and you can use the larger set for doing a match. Of course, that's the call of the department.
Sir, Ankit has a question, sir.
Good morning, sir. Sir, generally in machine learning, we have the training data and testing data, which are different. But in this case, like photo identification, they can overlap to some extent, because the same people who are being used for training the data, they might apply for other services. So if, let's say we say that two photos are same during the training process, in the testing, the computer will always say that the photos are same because it has been trained on that. So if there are inherent biases in the training, they can creep in during the implementation phase as well. So how do we handle such biases?
Yeah, very nice question. I think he must be an engineer. So, please understand that is why what we are calling is a three-factor. That is, the facial recognition is only one test. You have AI-based liveness detection, demographic-based name matching, and the deep learning-based image comparison. And only if all the three are successfully done, the transaction is over. So, even in the training set, for example, what we are saying is it might affect the part 3 facial part, but the name part and the the liveness part, that is very difficult to simulate all the three together. And in any case, when you roll out to the real situation, I don't think the demographic part, liveness part, three together is perhaps a very difficult, what I personally believe.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we are also running short of time, sir. And on the behalf of the Academy, sir, I would like to thank you for the wonderful lecture you have given and going us through the process of three-factor authentication and using the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and how we can dispense with the physical presence of the citizen in the government office, and we can deliver the service to them in their hands through using the mobile. And thank you very much, sir, for your insightful lecture.
Yeah, and thanks all the officers for a patient hearing, and thanks Milinji for this opportunity. Thank you very much, and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.